KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, Pittsburgh State students bring the community together with a cornhole fundraiser.
Plus, Parsons residents yesterday were able to participate in a mud run.
And we've got a beautiful sunrise out there as the clouds clear out ahead of another cool day here in the 4 states. Talk about that in the forecast to get you out the door coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
I'm Chris Warner. Just after 7 a.m. on this Monday morning, Tim is intentionally messing with me. He runs the birds every morning. I don't know. Plus, not to mention, I'm just curious, are the birds chasing our drone? Like, what set them off? Because that was a huge flock of them. Tim says they are. I think they were. It's probably Trevor's fault. Trevor's just sitting down here staring at us with a big, weird smile on
Chris
his
is
face.
just calling out everyone in the station, huh?
Yeah, well,
you want to tell
Lori's about the. She's the expert on desserts and chickens. Trevor's the expert on sleeping on my couch. And Tim's the expert on birds, apparently. We've got a lot of experts in this building this morning.
That's right, and I'll be the expert anchor right now.
That sounds like a
an
good plan.
Oklahoma community is in mourning over the loss of a dear friend. The family of beloved school crossing guard Daniel Lusky says Mr. Dan will be taken off life support this weekend.
Kylie Thomas has the story.
For me, it felt like a gut punch.
On Wednesday, Enid's crossing guard known as Mr. Dan was hit by a pickup truck as school let out. The driver telling police he couldn't see because of the sun. Today, family posting online that Dan's brain injury is too catastrophic and he will be taken off life support Saturday.
I don't know one single person that would have an unkind thing to say about Dan Lusky. Would have loved to have had an opportunity to hug his neck one more time.
We ate pizza together about 2 weeks ago with the leadership of the church, and I'm really glad. I'm really glad that we had that time together.
The loss being felt everywhere, but especially in Enid, where Dan spent his life protecting and serving kids.
Every time I'd see him, I'd try waving at him, but he wouldn't even notice me because that's how focused he was on his job. He took it very seriously, and the kid's safety was the most important to him.
If he was here with us right now, he would go, yeah, I wouldn't do anything different. I would serve my community with love and with compassion and care, the way that Jesus would.
The driver of the truck that hit Lusky was arrested at the scene. It's not clear if the driver would face upgraded charges when Lusky is taken off life support.
Meanwhile, Lusky's family says he is an organ donor and there are a few matches. So he's still continuing to give back to the community.
What a guy.
Even after this tragic incident down there. So our thoughts definitely with the family and with
Absolutely.
his friends down there. Well, here in our area, we are again a cool... that was a bad phrase. We are still cool. We are again cool, not a cool, but we are also cool because we're cool people. We're the 4 states, and we have this wonderful sunrise out there. Our camera 7th and range line looking back toward the east. Here comes the sun, beautiful colors, and again, a stray cloud or two out there, but we are beginning to clear. MoDOT camera 20th and range line showing us some skies as they lighten up out there, and we will see clear skies, or at least mostly clear skies through today. Still chilly though, 40 in Joplin and in Pittsburgh out there. And even though these clouds will clear, hey, well, that sunshine does not really bump our temperatures too quickly. We could see a bit of a breezy spot here between 8 and 10 a.m., but nothing like what we've seen over the last few days. And we're into the low 50s only by 11 o'clock this morning. We're going to take a look at that full forecast, talk to you about a little bit of a warm-up that's on the way here in just a few more minutes. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. A woman is dead after her car is hit by a semi on Highway 400 near Parsons, Kansas yesterday. Authorities say 78-year-old Nancy Davis of Marshfield, Missouri, was driving west on the highway when she crossed the center line and hit a semi headed east. David was pronounced dead at the scene. The driver of the semi was taken to the hospital. And 3 teenagers were injured in a shooting outside of a wrestling match in Kansas City, Missouri. Authorities say that the shooting happened Saturday outside the T-Mobile Center where a WWE event was happening. The 3 teens were hospitalized and listed in stable condition. The T-Mobile Center at the time was locked down during the event. No word on any suspects or arrests. Pitt State students yesterday hosted a cornhole tournament. The purpose of the event was for PSU students to get to know the community as well as give back to their fans and supporters. The tournament doubled as a fundraiser where all proceeds were split between 3 local organizations.
The main idea of today is to kind of bring the community of Pittsburgh, Kansas and the community of the college itself together as one. That's kind of my job. So we were looking at things over the summer and what exactly we could do to fulfill that. And one thing we decided on was that, a cornhole is something that's very appropriate for this time of year.
Registration was $5 per student and $10 per community member. Parsons residents yesterday were able to participate in a mud run. The mud run consisted of more than 10 obstacles within a 1.5 mile long course. After the run, participants were able to visit the Parsons Fire Department area to get cleaned up.
We had seen a couple of the other rec centers do it in bigger cities, and we figured it'd be something different to offer to our community. And we started it 4 years ago, and we continue to do it every year.
All participants received a swag bag before the race began. Up next, we have Lori Horton back in studio to finish up her chocolate chip cookie cups. And later, a black bear broke into a home in Connecticut recently. It made itself at home and raided the freezer. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Joining me now to do the next step of these amazing chocolate chip cups is Lori Horton. Lori, so we just put the cookies essentially in the oven.
Absolutely.
And
nothing out of the ordinary about how we baked these off except for putting them in the cupcake pan instead of on a cookie sheet. When they came out of the oven, they're just nicely puffed. So I took that good old metal cookie scoop and just used that to press down into the center while they're really nice and soft and hot, and make that little well in the center, make that little cup for whatever we want to put in there.
Perfect.
So what I've got next is a really super simple chocolate mousse, essentially, that we can put in there. And this is using 2.5 cups of heavy whipping cream. Make sure it is the heavy whipping cream. We want that good fat content in there. And then just 1 box of chocolate fudge instant pudding mix and a couple tablespoons of cocoa powder. And yeah, absolutely, 3 ingredients, not a big deal. I just whipped that together until it's really nice, and you can see it's just really nice and fluffy and creamy.
Yes.
And then all we're gonna do, I'm gonna make a little mess over here on the
Don't you worry.
stovetop. And we're gonna spoon this into our cups. Now these have not been out of the oven very long, so I'm gonna go to my nice and cooled ones here.
There you go. They look beautiful.
Want to make sure these are really good and cooled. If you want to get fancy, you can go ahead and put this into, like a Ziploc bag or a piping bag. Cut that corner off and go to town, or just use a small spoon. And we're going to take a nice, generous portion of that mousse and make sure we fill in the bottom first, and then put a little bit of extra on top. And then you can just use the back of your spoon to make a nice little piece out of it. Now, this is not where we're going to stop, because
we never stop there, Lori.
We never do. My favorite with chocolate, I don't know about you, is strawberries.
Okay.
So
very nice.
Got some fresh strawberries here, and all I'm going to do is take and slice these, not all the way to the top, in several little pieces, so they look all pretty on top.
Yeah.
And once I've got several little score marks on there, and I know you guys can't really see this real well at home, but you'll see once I fan this apart, we'll just lightly spread that little guy on there, and you'll have this pretty little strawberry piece to put on top.
So it's not just a dessert for kids. You can spruce it
You
up.
can make it kind of fancy.
Yeah, have it for a dinner party.
Exactly. But if you want to just be simple on there, you can also just put a dollop of Cool Whip in there. Like you mentioned earlier, a little scoop of ice cream.
I think that's
in the
perfect,
center would be
right?
Perfect. Absolutely.
And it's like a little cupcake, essentially. It has frosting on it, but it still has the cookie component.
When we come back, we'll show this a little bit more, and we'll do some extra fillings in there.
I love that.
Sample.
All right, well, stay tuned. We have more coming up right after this. Well, welcome back. We have Lori Horton here for the third and final installment of our chocolate chip cookie cups. So what are we doing right now, Lori?
Okay, I am just filling some more of these with our simple chocolate mousse that we made with that heavy whipping cream and chocolate pudding. So nice and thick and creamy. These I'm going to make a little bit flatter on top so that I can top them with some extra goodies.
All right.
And again, you can do this to taste. So if chocolate's not your favorite with chocolate chip cookies, you want to lighten it up a little bit, you can change that up to vanilla pudding. You can make this, you know, any flavor combination that you want. So it's really, again, like you guys know, I love to do something that's a little customizable to your own personal tastes because everybody likes something a little bit different. And then I just put a little bit of Cool Whip in my plastic Ziploc bag here, and we can cut
the edge off, right?
Cut that little
Super
corner
easy.
off, very simple, and we'll put a little swirl of our
that
Cool
looks
Whip
lovely.
on there. And then we can't stop there because, you know, more is more, right? And so we'll go back with a few little chocolate chips on there.
Oh yeah, you're really going for it now, Lori.
We could drizzle this with some chocolate syrup. We could just add an endless possibility.
And it's beautiful.
It is. And these are a deep enough little cup. You could fill this with a jam, preserves, anything like that with a fruit topping. The fresh fruit, of course, is perfect on there seasonally. But again, it's just kind of endless possibilities. The nice part with these as well is you can bake the cups up well in advance. They're going to keep in the freezer for quite a while. You'll put them in like a sealed container, you know, Tupperware, Ziploc, whatever. So that's kind of nice. You can have this part of it ready to go and then just make your filling ahead. The mousse keeps well also. So in the fridge,
that's great.
Up to 4 days, you can freeze that also. So this is kind of one when you know you have something really busy, and I know we're looking a little far out, but Christmas is going to be here very soon.
Well, yes, Christmas and baked
outside
goods
is letting us know that the holidays are coming.
I'm getting some Halloween vibes from this, though.
Absolutely.
I mean, it kind of looks like you could set it up to make it look like little ghosts or what have
put
you.
some little Halloween sprinkles on there
Right?
instead of the chocolate chips.
Absolutely.
You can add some food
Candy
coloring
corn.
to the Cool Whip.
I love that.
And this is something that the kids can really help with. Once you've baked the cookie cups, you know, this is not anything that's going to be real heavy duty. You can do this with a simple hand mixer. You don't have to get out the big equipment.
Yes.
So that makes it really nice as well. So
Easy and fun and looks great. So perfect.
And something good. Not so much probably great to take to school, a little bit messy, but good for the home
these are
party.
about 3 or 4 bite little treats.
They are a little bit much for the kids. So, you know, at the end, what we really have to do is quality control, as I like to call it. So I have to ask on your sample, do you want the Cool Whip or just the mousse?
Cool Whip.
Cool Whip.
She makes me do this every time, guys.
I'm telling you.
Thank you. Lori, done it again.
The cookies stay soft and chewy.
It really does.
The mousse is really creamy.
This is the one, you guys. Make sure you try this at home. Lori, incredible. Where can they get this amazing recipe?
Of course, the recipe is going to be on our KOAMnewsnow.com website. You'll be able to catch this and the recap of it later.
You're the
If
best,
there's
Lori.
any questions, you guys can always comment on the Facebook page as well, and we'll get back with you with any questions or ideas or comments.
I love that. Queen of sweets. Always
But not
pleasure having you.
chicken.
But no, saving the chicken for noon.
We'll let Howard be the expert on
Excellent.
chicken.
Thank you so much, and we'll be right back with more news after this.
A black bear broke into a home in Connecticut recently, made itself at home, and then raided the freezer.
The incident was caught on video. Aya Galal reports.
It was all captured on Ring cameras inside of this Berkhamsted home. A black bear breaks into this house through a window screen and roams around for a bit.
You can see him going from room to room, so like as comfortable as I am in my house.
Here you could see the bear entering the kitchen, opening up the freezer, grabbing lasagna, and then ultimately leaving the house through the kitchen window.
It's very hard to believe. My mom made me some lasagna, I left it in the freezer, and the bear just, took it.
Helena Richardson was at work when she got a Ring notification on her phone about something being inside her home.
I knew no one was supposed to be at home at that time, so I checked, and indeed it was a bear.
The tagged bear is then seen on an outside camera holding the lasagna and walking away on the deck. Fortunately, nobody was hurt, but the bear did leave behind a mess.
It's actually stayed in the house for about 35 minutes.
This comes as black bear sightings are becoming increasingly common in Connecticut. They're even being spotted in more heavily populated areas, according to DEEP. Conflicts with bears have tripled over the last 5 years in Connecticut. According to the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection's latest data, there have been 34 reported home entries in Connecticut this year and 2 bear attacks on humans. In 2022, there were nearly 70 home entries. During the fall season, black bears are more active and they increase their food intake in order to help them survive the winter. That's why DEEP is urging people to be more bear aware. Tips include never feeding bears, removing bird feeders from late March through November, storing garbage in airtight containers, keeping barbecue grills clean, and not leaving pet food outside.
I've told the story a few times today and people are just like, I almost don't believe you, you know. I have footage.
Certainly interesting. Experts say bear encounters in the area are on the rise. And I mean, maybe it's just me, but I also wouldn't leave my house and leave my kitchen windows open.
Who would have thought? But also, how smart is that bear?
Oh, okay. He knew where to go for the food. It took him a minute, but he's like, I know there's food in here. There's got to be some food in this house.
Lasagna.
Perfect choice, though, for this time of year.
Absolutely. Well, coming up, why first responders want you to know having an address posted where they can see it could be the difference between life and death.
And we've got a pretty beautiful start to the day, albeit a bit on the chilly side. We'll have another look at your forecast when we come back.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. The time now is 7:26 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
The address right here behind me, this is exactly what...
First responders want you to know having an address posted where they can see it could be the difference between life and death. Reporter Charmel Odell spoke with Republic firefighters about how you can make sure when you call 911, they get to your house as quickly as possible.
The address right here behind me, this is exactly what police and firefighters need to be able to get to you.
When we're having trouble finding those numbers, it just ups the amount of stress that we're already feeling. We're wanting to get in to be able to help take care of whatever situation we have.
Adam Brown has been working with Republic Fire Department for more than 13 years. He says firefighters have problems all the time finding houses because they don't have clear house numbers.
We will come over here and we'll find the address that it's going to be, and we can see that 120 is going to be the 4th house on the right once we turn onto the street. So that gives us somewhere to start with looking, and then we can verify the address once we arrive on scene.
First responders typically have less than 4 minutes to arrive on scene. It can slow them down when they can't read your address.
The numbers, they need to be at least 4 inches tall. If they can be bigger than that, that's always going to be better. It'll be more helpful. It's just easier to see. Having them in a well-lit area, having your front porch light right there by them.
You should also make sure trees or bushes aren't blocking those numbers. Having your address in several locations could also help. But if businesses volunteer to paint your curb, you should be careful who you hire. The Better Business Bureau says, as for references,
an easy thing to do would be to go around your neighborhood. Look for numbers that have already been painted that you like and talk to your neighbors.
Firefighters tell me one more important thing is that they need to be able to find your house at night. If you take a look here behind me, you can see the house is a brownish color and its address numbers are almost the same exact color as the house. They want to see more of a contrasting color, something like white, so that your house address stands out at night.
Well, we've got another chilly start across the area today. Taking a look outside, our camera 7th and range line. Still not bad looking out there, and the few clouds we had are starting to dissipate. MoDOT camera 20th and range line also looking pretty good this morning, but temperatures, it is cool to say the least. 40 in Joplin, sitting at 39 in Pittsburgh out there. We get our morning started. It is again cool. Could have a brief moment of some breezy winds, but outside of that, not a bad start to the day. A few clouds, mostly sunny skies. Despite that sunshine, temperatures slow to warm, only the low 50s by late morning. We will see a little bit of a warming trend this week, not significantly so, but it will start to warm up. We'll take a look at that in your full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Caitlin?
The Maple Leaf Festival hosted their second day of events yesterday. Sunday's festivities included a chili cook-off It costs $10 to enter and $5 to taste. About 10 different chili booths were set up, with each booth offering a different take on the classic chili.
Yeah, so we change it up from year to year, give to different organizations. Last year was the Carthage Humane Society, and this year it's the Carthage VFW. So keeping the funds local and trying to help our community in the best way we can.
All chili cooks made their chili on site at Central Park. Also part of the Maple Leaf Festival yesterday was a chicken pageant. The rules are simple: bring a chicken and dress it up in a costume. The audience then votes for their favorite chicken and costume for each age group. The winner then walks away with a prize.
Yeah, we heard about it because my brother was in it like a few years ago, and so I thought I would do it.
About 30 chickens were in attendance, and there was even one dressed as fried chicken. The Maple Leaf Festival week kicks off at Central Park in Carthage with Oktoberfest. The week-long festivities include live music, vendors, and a baby show Saturday. Throughout the rest of the week, there's going to be a chili cook-off, chicken pageant, and even a night of worship on Wednesday.
It supports the community and supports all of the businesses, with showcasing all of our businesses who support Carthage in general. So this festival gives back. It was started from the high school with a band competition that they have, and it's just evolved over the years.
For more information or their full list of events, check out carthagechamber.com. The 5th Annual Fall Festival in Pineville, Missouri took place Saturday at the Pineville Town Square. This family-friendly event featured good music, giveaways, and vendors. There was also a pet costume contest to get into the Halloween spirit and a bounce house for the kids.
So this is our 5th one, and we started this 5 years ago with didn't really know what it might end up like, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger every year.
Locals were able to enjoy the festival from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday. And the Neosho National Fish Hatchery hosted its fabulous fall fishing for females on Saturday. This is the hatchery's 2nd annual Ladies Only Fishing Derby. The event began at 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. and was open to women 18 years or older.
Yeah, we're celebrating 135 years. The fish hatchery was founded in 1888. And so for this event, for this year, we have all our traditional fishing derbies. This is our 2nd annual women's fishing derby. So it's only the 2nd time we've ever done this.
For the derby, there was a 4-trout limit and no catch and release. Quapaw Hay Days also took place Saturday as locals celebrate the town's legacy. Quapaw was once the hay capital of the U.S., and Hay Days invited hundreds of local residents to enjoy fall festivities. Quapaw Public Schools put on the event that featured family-friendly fun like scavenger hunts, lip-sync battles, and a basketball tournament.
I'm just seeing the community involvement, seeing all the kids running around having a good time, and just bringing the community together.
The festivities began at 10 a.m. and wrapped up around 3 p.m. at Quapaw schools. At Fort Scott High School, their thespians held their annual tea party on Saturday. Attendees were encouraged to dress up in their favorite costumes and enjoy crafts, food, and activities. This year they added multiple new characters, including Tarzan and Jane, Captain Hook, Tweedledee and Tweedledum, as well as the Teen Titans.
We have students who really enjoy playing certain characters, especially year after year, and then some of them, when they graduate, they kind of pass that character on down to someone else who's coming up. Every year we usually add a couple of characters, so now we're at 14 different tables.
Tickets were $5 per child and could be purchased online or at the door. That's a look at our top news stories. Next up on the KOAM Morning News, why schools nationwide are trying to find enough bilingual teachers to fill classrooms.
And again, it's a chilly start out there today. Unless you're these cows, it's probably a little bit warmer to them. We are going to talk about those cool temperatures and our little warm up here in just a few more minutes. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:36 now on this Monday morning, and we've got a beautiful view from our camera 7th and Rangeline in Joplin. A great start to the day out there, and same just to the south from MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline. We've got the plentiful sunshine. What we don't have is plentiful warm temperatures, sitting at 40 in Joplin and only 39 in Pittsburgh right now. So again, a pretty chilly start out there. And despite the fact that we're going to see plentiful sunshine with a few clouds here and there, that sun is not going to warm our temperatures up very quickly. We're only into the low 50s by late morning. Could get a little gusty there between 8 and 10 a.m., but thankfully not nearly as breezy as we've seen over the last few days, where, boy, if it was breezy like that, I tell you, it'd be awfully darn cold outside. But that's the good news, though, is it's not going to be nearly as breezy, but it is going to be chilly. We will warm up later this week, and as I've promised, we have another complete look at your forecast, including the 7-day with that warm up here in just a few more minutes. But first, rules of the road. Drive safe, follow the speed limit, and don't impersonate a state trooper. A Florida woman with an eye for design learned that last one the hard way. Jeremy Roth explains in today's. Take a look at this. Take a look at this. You see this. Don't do these things that this lady did down in Florida.
Can you spot the difference between these cars? I'll give you a hint. One is a Florida Highway Patrol car. The other is a first-degree misdemeanor. According to WPLG, troopers arrested a woman they say had her vehicle modified to look exactly like an FHP patrol car, including decals of her own security company and a light bar and siren. At first, the woman said she bought the car like this, but then changed her story, saying she requested a wrap shop recreate the color scheme because she saw it on a trooper's vehicle and, quote, fell in love with it. Aw, that's nice. It's also illegal. FHP later tweeted as much, offering the public a friendly but firm reminder. From wrapped to unwrapped. That's the unique approach one Arizona dad took at a public school board meeting, stripping down to protest a contentious dress code policy change. The man said he wanted to make a statement in opposing the proposed change to loosen restrictions on more revealing student outfits. But the more lenient policy was ultimately voted through despite this dad's best undressed efforts. Okie dokie, how's about a moment of zen? Albuquerque's amazing International Balloon Fiesta is soon set to wrap up more than a week's worth of festive and flamboyant floating fodder dotting the skies over New Mexico. Now more than 5 decades strong, the annual festival featuring over 500 balloons did not disappoint viewing visitors because there's nothing like buku balloons aloft to give you a lift. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Well, nothing quite gets your point across like stripping down into women's clothes at a school board meeting. Those balloons were very cool, but as the first story said too, do not make your car to match your local police or highway patrol. It is a terrible idea. It is a dangerous idea. It will get you in trouble. Don't do those things. But what you should do is stick around because we've got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:42 now on this Monday morning across the area. And while it is chilly, we do have a very nice start out there. Plentiful sunshine. You can see from the MoDOT camera at 20th and Rangeline and from the KDOT camera at 69 East 520th just south of Pittsburgh. So again, you can't see the sky, but you can see the sun. Therefore, we know these skies are clear because the sun is visible. Our camera 7th and Rangeline, again, a beautiful start to the day out there, but it is chilly. 40 degrees, west breeze at about 3 miles an hour out there, and temperatures around the region, there are some cooler spots than that. Iola, for example, at 36, 39 in Chanute, 37, Parsons and Yates Center, 42, Miami, 39, Neosho, Carthage, Lamar, 38, and Monette. You got to head fairly far south to find some warmer spots. Grove and Jay both checking in at 43. We get our morning started despite the plentiful sunshine out there. Doesn't do much for our temperatures. We only go low 50s by late morning, maybe a little breezy period around 9 o'clock or so. We head into the afternoon. Again, more sun than clouds, but a few clouds possible. But again, doesn't really matter. We still don't get that warm. We only go in the low to mid 60s, unless, of course, you're along and west of US 75 in southeast Kansas. For reasons unknown to me, it's always warmer out there, so you might make the upper 60s today. Partly cloudy skies as we head through the evening. Temperatures still falling quickly back into the upper 30s and low 40s, leading us to a pretty chilly start for our Tuesday. And that's really going to be the thing. We're going to have cool overnights, but fairly decent afternoons as our temperatures continue to warm. Upper 60s tomorrow. Of course, west of 75, that means lower 70s. Always add about 5 degrees if you're west of 75. We're going to go into the low to mid 70s heading into the weekend. Temperatures fall back a bit into the upper 60s by Sunday. Maybe a stray shower or two Wednesday evening into Thursday morning. Our best rain chances, or at least slightly better ones, won't come until Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, with a few more showers Tuesday night into our Wednesday. That's a quick check of your forecast. Now here's Caitlin with Consumer Watch.
Thanks, Chris. In Consumer Watch this morning, the record number of migrants arriving in the U.S. includes many young children. Now schools nationwide are trying to find enough bilingual teachers to fill classrooms. Michael George shows us how some cities are trying new ideas to recruit more educators.
Schools across the country are adapting to a new reality, the enrollment of tens of thousands of migrant children.
I've never had as many students as I have now.
Michelle Land is a high school teacher and president of New Jersey Bilingual Educators. She says many children of asylum seekers speak little or no English, and without bilingual teachers, it'll be tough for them to keep up with their classmates or learn English.
Can bilingual education actually help kids learn English faster?
Absolutely. And as a teacher of language, I know that in order for the student to learn a new language, we need to have a strong foundation in the first language.
A 2021 Department of Education report found more than half of states have a shortage of bilingual educators, with low pay and certification issues being the main reasons. Nonprofits are now offering financial incentives in Miami, Los Angeles, and Dallas to find more bilingual teachers. And in New York, a city trying to accommodate 20,000 more students, school officials are making it easier for bilingual teachers to get tenure.
Launching that gave us access to over 500 additional teachers who are already tenured, already show proven success here in New York City schools, and who have the credentials to teach our multilingual learners.
Melissa Aviles Ramos with the New York City Department of Education says now the city has enough teachers to handle the influx of new students.
It makes a huge difference. Children feel welcomed when their language is recognized in a setting.
The hope is it will give tens of thousands of kids a foundation for a good education. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Advocates say the U.S. will need to invest much more money in education to meet the demands of the growing number of migrant students. And one of the nation's biggest pharmacy chains, Rite Aid, has filed for bankruptcy. In a statement, the company said it is restructuring to reduce its debt. It comes as the retailer has been dealing with slumping sales and lawsuits related to the opioid epidemic. Rite Aid also named a new CEO, Jeffrey S. Stein. And the IRS says Americans failed to pay a record $688 billion on their 2021 tax returns, according to new estimates. The unpaid taxes fall mainly into three categories: taxes that aren't filed, are underprotected, or are underpaid. The agency says it is taking urgent steps to increase compliance, which include auditing more high-income taxpayers and businesses. The IRS does note that 85% of taxes are paid voluntarily and on time. And Taylor Swift's Eras Tour continues its record-breaking run, this time at the movie theater box office. Over the weekend, Taylor Swift, the Eras Tour, had the biggest domestic opening ever for a concert film, grossing nearly $100 million. The previous record holder was 2011's Justin Bieber, Never Say Never, which brought in $73 million when it opened initially. We'll be right back with more after this, but first, let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Joining me today in studio is Cheryl Cotter and Sue Wheeler to talk about the Crafts and Creation Fair. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us, and tell us all about this cool crafts fair you have going on.
Well, Sue is the one that has been in charge of this. I'll let her take that.
We are having a first-time Crafts and Creations Fair. It'll be at the Shrine Center in Pittsburgh, Kansas. It's a block off of, or half a block off of Broadway on 5th Street. and we're having all of our vendors are full. We have over 20 vendors with a wide variety of crafts, from leather goods, wood goods. We have a vineyard, we have a greenhouse with plants. We have a runner-up from Forged and Fire making knives. We have holiday items from wooden glow, where you have a candle in and they glow, to a scenery of Halloween or Christmas. We have wreaths, we have all kinds of stuff.
Don't forget the jewelry.
We have jewelry, and we also will be raffling each item. One item from each vendor will be there, and they will have a raffle that you can buy raffle tickets for.
I love that. And what's cool about this is that it's completely free, correct?
Yeah. It's free, open to the public.
Love that.
From 9 to 4 on Saturday, October 21st. Open to the public, come in and have a good time. We'll have food items as well if you're hungry or thirsty. And it's all climate controlled, so it doesn't matter what the weather is.
Oh, we love that. So you can get your last minute Halloween decorations. You can start in early for some of your holiday shopping needs. And also just get beautiful jewelry and stuff for yourself, because who doesn't deserve to treat themselves? And now tell me about your organization and what you guys do and why you put these on.
Okay, our organization is Daughters of the Nile, and it is a shrine affiliated organization, basically all of women supporting and uplifting women. And we started giving to Shriners Hospitals for Children in 1924. So in 2024, we will be celebrating our 100th year of continuous giving. Last year, giving $2.1 million to Shriners Hospitals.
That's incredible. That is incredible. Thank you, ladies, for all your
Absolutely.
service. Like, wow, what a legacy to continue to carry on. And are you looking for any new recruits? To
Absolutely.
Any of our viewers?
The only thing you have to have is a Masonic connection anywhere in your family tree. It does not matter where.
Okay.
But the group that we have is so wonderful. I mean, I say this to all our people coming in. The women are so accepting, and they are so just lovely to be around. And it is a joy for me every time I get to go to a meeting. I'm always excited about it.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for coming and sharing this great event happening this weekend. And we'll be right back with more news after this. Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A woman is dead after her car is hit by a semi on Highway 400 near Parsons, Kansas yesterday. Authorities say 78-year-old Nancy Davis of Marshfield, Missouri was driving west on the highway when she crossed the center line and hit a semi headed east. Davis was pronounced dead at the scene. The driver of the semi was taken to the hospital. Pittsburgh Stakes students yesterday hosted a cornhole tournament. The purpose of the event was for PSU students to get to know the community as well as give back to their fans and supporters. The tournament doubled as a fundraiser where all proceeds were split between 3 local organizations. Registration was $5 per student and $10 per community member. Quapaw Hay Days also took place Saturday as locals celebrate the town's legacy. Quapaw was once the hay capital of the U.S., and Hay Days invited hundreds of local residents to enjoy fall festivities. Quapaw Public Schools put on the event that featured family-friendly fun like scavenger hunts, lip-sync battles, and a basketball tournament. The festivities began at 10 a.m. and wrapped up around 3 p.m. at Quapaw schools.
All right, we've got ourselves a mostly clear day out there. A couple of clouds possible. Despite the sunshine, we're still cool, only making it into the low 60s out there, maybe some mid 60s. Tonight, clouds increase just a bit, partly cloudy through the evening and overnight, and chilly once again, upper 30s, lower 40s for our lows. We do have a slight warming trend, though. We'll be in the upper 60s, low 70s as we head through the rest of the week. Maybe an isolated shower or two as we head into late Wednesday night and early Thursday morning.
Well, the empire of a man who created cartoons, movies, a mouse, and his house turns 100.
Walt Disney began his climb to an entertainment dynasty 100 years ago today. Disney's start began by signing a distribution deal for live-action animated comedy shorts. His most famous character, Mickey Mouse, debuted in 1928 as Steamboat Willie.
And from there, films and characters were all that we know came alive from the company's creative geniuses. They incorporated other empires like the Star Wars and Marvel Universe franchises Theme parks like Disneyland and Disney World have now entertained for generations.
It's incredible how far Walt Disney has come in the last 100 years.
Right.
You know, where would we be without some of those iconic classic movies?
Right, everyone's childhood
Absolutely.
has been wonderful because of him.
Absolutely, it has. Well, thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We're going to be back with more news and weather today at noon.
Have a great rest of your day, 4 States.